Jump starting a car battery is a pretty straightforward process. You just always want to remember to never let the positive and the negative terminals touch, whether that's through a wrench that you're using for some reason or the jumper cables. Don't ever let those two cross. So the positive side on a battery is red and has a red cable. The negative side is black, and there's a black cable right down there. So you can remove this rubber cover, and that exposes the terminal. And sometimes you'll have like an extra black cable coming straight off of this red side, but don't worry about that one. It's just going to accessory wiring in the vehicle. But you know this one's hot because you can see that it's still connected up to everything through here that is still connected to the positive battery terminal. There's really a specific way you should connect the battery up when you're jump starting a car. You have a live battery that's good on a vehicle that's running, and then you have a dead battery that you're trying to jump start. So you want to connect up the positive side of the dead battery first. And a good way to remember that is it's positively dead. So connect the positive side, the red clamp, to the positive side of the dead battery first. Then go back to the positive terminal on the live battery and connect that up. So now you've got your positive to the positive connected, or red to red. And while you're up here at the good battery, connect the black side to the black terminal, or the negative side to the black terminal, which on this vehicle it's tucked up underneath this metal part of the frame. And then work your way back to the dead battery again, and you can connect the black terminal on the dead battery. You can connect the clamp up straight to the terminal, but what they actually recommend is that you connect it to the frame of the vehicle. So if this is my vehicle with the dead battery, first of all you have to find the battery. You look around, there's no battery anywhere in the engine compartment. Oddly enough, in this vehicle they put the battery behind this plastic wheel well cover. So if you ever have to change the battery in a Dodge Stratus, this is an 06 Dodge Stratus, you actually have to pull the wheel off, pull that plastic cover off, and the battery is tucked up underneath there, which is kind of obnoxious actually. So what they do, since you can't actually access the battery, is they give you terminals that you can use. So notice this one is red, and it even has the words here, positive, a little plus symbol, and underneath this plastic cap there's a bolt. So that has a wire that runs straight from this bolt down to the positive side of the battery. And here you can see it says negative jump start attachment. So this wire actually runs down to the positive or the negative terminal on the battery, but it's also connected to the frame of the vehicle. So if I'm connecting up the jumper cables, I'm going to connect the positively dead side first. And I want to make sure my negative cable doesn't hit something else on the vehicle. I don't want any cables to connect accidentally. So I'm going to make sure that's not just flopping on the side of the vehicle. So I'm on the positively dead side first, and then I come over to the positively alive side next. So now I have both sides of the positive connection made. Now while I'm at the live battery, I'm going to reach up underneath there and connect the negative terminal. So that's connected. But what you really want to make sure of is if you have, instead of a sheath there, if you have bare metal there, you don't want that to come in contact with the positive side over here, because then you would be crossing the negative and the positive together, and that'll cause sparks and could possibly cause an explosion. So now I come back to the dead battery and connect my black jumper cables up to the frame of the engine compartment, or if they have a specifically designated negative jump attachment point, then you can attach right there. And before I try to start the dead battery vehicle, I want to have the live battery vehicle running. So the vehicle with the live battery needs to be started and running, and then I'll try to start the vehicle with the dead battery. If it doesn't start right away, I'll let it sit for 15 minutes or so. That'll give this battery time to charge, and then I'll try it again. As soon as the vehicle with the dead battery starts, I want to disconnect both those battery cables. And what you really want to make sure you don't do is don't let these two touch, because they are connected to the positive and the negative side on the live battery. And again, that would be crossing those terminals. So you want to keep these separated from each other. And one way to do that is to just clamp one onto the cable of the other one, and that way they can't really touch. And you can always put clamp that one back on that cable back there, just so they don't accidentally bump up against each other and spark. Something else that's good to keep in your car, if you don't have jumper cables, is one of these jump starter packs. It's very small, it's compact, easy to throw in the trunk of your car or keep it underneath the seat or something. But I've used this to jump start like up to 5-6 batteries at a time before I have to recharge it. But it's pretty easy to use. It has a plug in there where you plug in this port and then connect these cables up to the dead battery. It even has a light on it. You can read it. It shows a green light that says correct right there. So that tells me I've got my cables connected correctly. So now I would go try to start the car. If it doesn't start right away, again, I can let it sit for a few minutes and then try it again. So this is a nice portable pack. I picked this up off of Amazon for about $100. They have a bunch of different styles. I'll throw a link to a good one down in the description so you can see it. You can get some more information, read other people's reviews or something. But I've carried one of these in all of my vehicles for probably the last 5 or 6 years. I use them all the time, whether it's for jump starting my car or jump starting a friend's car whose battery died. Now, if you want something with a little more jump starting power, you can get a big jump pack like this. I picked it up off of Amazon also, but it'll put out more amperage and jump start bigger vehicles like diesel trucks. But it works the same way as that smaller jump pack. Just put the red on the positive terminal and the black on the negative terminal and turn the power switch on. It shows right now this 12.6 volts. That's how much voltage is in the jump starter itself. But once you get the terminals hooked up, the car usually starts pretty quick. You don't have to let it sit for 15 minutes with something this big. You can usually jump start it right away. Most you'd have to wait a minute or two. But it also has a 12 volt port on it. So if you have like a 12 volt air compressor or something you want to plug in, it has USB ports on it so you can charge your phone. So I really like this one. I keep it in my truck because it's a bigger battery and requires more amperage to jump start than that small portable jump starter. So once everything is hooked up properly to both vehicles, you first want to start the vehicle with the good battery. So now I'm going to go ahead and try to start the vehicle with the dead battery. So it started right up, so I want to make sure to disconnect these battery cables right away and remember not to let them touch. I want to be sure and let the vehicle with the dead battery run for a little while, because if I turn it off now, then the battery is still dead. It hasn't had time to charge. So I'm just going to let it run for a little while or drive it around for a few miles just to help charge that battery up. And once I park it and turn it off, I'm going to go ahead and start it again just to make sure it'll start on its own. If not, then I may have a bad battery or I might have to charge it for longer. But that's how you jump start a vehicle.